The sun was just beginning to fall behind the trees in rural South Carolina when Miss Loretta Price locked up her garden shed. At 78, she moved slower, but her spirit hadn't aged a day. Her back was straighter than most folks half her age, her silver hair always neatly tied in her hands, scarred strong, told stories most couldn't imagine. Before we continue, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notification bell to get notified for more, and share to friends. Where are you watching from? Please tell us in the comments. We love seeing how far our story travels. Loretta wasn't just any old lady. She was a retired Army Staff Sergeant, a veteran of 3 tours, and the first black woman to lead a combat logistics squad in the Gulf War. Her home sat quiet on the edge of town, tucked between pine woods and memories. But peace has a strange way of attracting trouble. That evening, as she rolled her trash bin down the gravel path, a dusty red pickup skidded to a stop at the edge of her driveway. 3 men jumped out, loud, laughing, wearing Confederate flag patches and beer in their breath. Strangers. Or maybe not. In towns like this, people often to your face, but not your worth. Well, look what we got here, the tallest one chuckled, pulling off his cap. Heard some uppity old woman was preaching at the town hall about getting the statue taken down. Loretta's eyes didn't flinch. You mean the statue of the man who fought to keep my ancestors in chains? Yeah, that was me. The second man, scruffy, mid-30s, spit a wad of tobacco near her boots. Big words for a small woman. She didn't budge, and small minds for grown men. That's when the third, youngest of them, stepped forward and shoved her shoulder. She staggered, caught herself on the mailbox, then stood upright, calm, silent. I fought for this country, she said, locking eyes with the one who pushed her. And you got the nerve to put your hands on me? You fought, he mocked. What, in a soup kitchen? I fought, Loretta repeated, pulling out her phone. And I've got the kind of friends who don't ask questions, just addresses. They laughed. She didn't. Loretta tapped a name. It rang once. Then, ma'am? Jenkins, she said coolly, activate Bravo Echo 3. The phone clicked off. Confused silence hung in the air. The men looked at each other. What the hell's a Bravo? That's when it started. First, the sound of tires skidding down the street. Then headlights, 3, 4, 5 black SUVs crawling toward her house. No sirens, just speed and silence. Doors flew open. Out stepped 6 figures, men and women, all over 60, some wearing army jackets, others plain jeans. But the way they moved, purposeful, alert, spoke volumes. One carried a cane, but held it like a weapon. Another had a military badge hanging from his neck. All of them veterans. Loretta? Called the man in front. You good? I'm fine, Rico. Just a little pest problem. The tallest thug reached for his pocket. Maybe a knife. But before his hand could move, Rico was on him. A fast twist, a shove, and the man was face down in the dirt. Another vet, a wiry woman named Doc, stepped to the side and blocked the other's escape. Not so fast. Let's chat. The second thug charged at her. She sidestepped, hooked his ankle, and sent him sprawling into a pile of pine cones. The third man froze, hands up. We didn't mean nothing. All right? Just talking. You put your hands on a war hero, Rico growled. You cross a line. Loretta raised her hand. No, let him speak. Let him explain why a group of grown men felt the need to intimidate a woman nearly 80 years old. The silence was deafening. The sheriff arrived 10 minutes later, blinking in disbelief at the scene. 3 bruised men, 6 retired soldiers standing at ease, and Loretta sipping sweet tea like nothing had happened. Miss Price, the sheriff began, you want to press charges? She looked at the men, now seated on the grass, defeated. No, she said. But I want the town to know what happened. I want every single person who still thinks racism lives in the past to see how alive it is. The sheriff nodded. Yes, ma'am. By morning, word had spread, not just through town, but online. Someone had filmed part of the confrontation. The video went viral. Elderly black vet assembles old military squad to stop racist attackers. The footage showed discipline, dignity, and the painful reality of racism, still active, still dangerous, even in small corners of America. Local news ran interviews. High school students came to visit Miss Loretta, bringing flowers and apologies. Some from families she knew harbored hate just days before. But what changed most was a conversation. No longer could folks pretend racism was just noise from the past. No longer could people dismiss the elderly as weak or the voices of veterans as silent. Loretta sat on her porch days later, watching two of the same boys repaint the community center she fought to protect. The statue? Removed by unanimous city vote. Replaced with a new monument, one honoring local veterans of all races. She looked out the street and smiled. Sometimes the most powerful weapons aren't fists or fire, but truth, unity, and a single phone call to the right people. Moral lesson. This story reminds us that age does not erase strength, and true courage lives beyond uniforms and battlefields. When society ignores injustice, silence becomes complicity. But when good people stand together, no matter their age or background, change becomes undeniable. Respect your elders, honor your veterans, and never, ever underestimate them. If this story moved you, inspired you, or even made you think twice about the people we often overlook, don't keep it to yourself. Share this story. Talk about it. Let it spark a conversation in your home, school, or workplace. And if you want more real, raw, and powerful storytelling that entertains and enlightens, make sure you follow, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because these are the stories that change minds. And maybe, just maybe, change the world.